Okay, here we go. A little geometry with algebra. Margaret is planting a rectangular garden. Its length is means equals. It means the length equals 4 feet less than twice its width. Its area is 170 square feet. Approximate the dimensions of the garden, the length and width. Now, once again, you're going to want to draw a rectangle, but you're not building a border around the outside, okay? It's just the garden. You're finding the length and the width, so put length, width. Now inside I want you to put the area, which is 170. Now you also need to put up to the side this other fact that the length is 4 feet less than twice its width. Its area is 170 square feet, okay? So you're going to write equals. It says length is, so length equals. Now put a W somewhere on the other side. Now give yourself some space. Now, because here's where it says width. Well, I see the word twice. Twice means times 2, okay? And then 4 feet less means minus 4. You put that after your W, okay? So, now, whenever we're dealing with shapes, we want to make that cross, and we want to write the area again. Length, width, and then A for area. Put equals A. So the area we know is 170. Now, length equals 2 times W minus 4, okay? So in the length parentheses, think of that as your base, and this is the replace. So instead of writing L here, you replace it with 2W minus 4, okay? And then here you just put W down, because now you have the same variable in each parentheses rather than an L and a W, okay? So now, it's not really the FOIL method, but I'll write it. So you take 2W times 1W. It's kind of just distribution. And then you go negative 4 times 1W. So only 2 products. So you got 2W to the second and then negative 4W. So we'd just have W to the second and W, and it'd just be a 2 and a negative 4. So I bring this over here and I write 2W to the second, and then you can either write minus 4W or plus negative 4W, it doesn't matter, equals 170. Now we solve for W, but we have W squared and W not squared, meaning same variable, different powers, you have to use your factoring properties. Okay, so there'd be 2 answers. Okay, you need your 0, so you subtract 170. Now there's nowhere for 170 to go because that's multiplied by W to the second, and the negative 4 is multiplied by W, so I would hang that out. So W to the second plus blank W plus blank equals 0. So you got 2, negative 4, negative 170. So now it's a trinomial, so I go GCF and table. Okay, no W, no negative, 2, 4, and 170, okay? So 2's your smallest, 4's there. Now, I know it runs out at 170, but they're all even numbers, so they probably all divide by 2 evenly. Yep, they do, so 2. Just 2, though. So you divide by 2, and you get 1W to the second, negative 2W, and then negative 85. Okay, so I'm going to bring that 2 over, and then this is my trinomial. So 1 times negative 85, that's negative 85, so that would be a mismatch. It's over 100, so I'm going to go through with it and try to find it. We have to add to negative 2. 1 and 85, that is negative 84, much too wide. 85 is not divisible by 2. It's not divisible by 3. It's not divisible by 4. It is divisible by 5, 5 and 17. But we add those, and that's too wide. So divide by 6, no. Divide by 7, no. Divide by 8, no. Divide by 9, nope. Divide by 10, nope. 11, nope. 12, nope. 13, nope. 14, nope. Divide until you get to 17 because you already have 17 on the other side. 15, nope. 16, and then I've already got 17 and 5, so I'd just be repeating myself. So that's quadratic formula. So W equals opposite of B plus or minus D square root B squared minus 4AC, B squared minus 4AC over 2A. So the opposite of B is positive 2. Then B to the second would be negative 2. Then 4AC, A is 1, C is negative 85. Then the bottom A is 1. Okay, so get rid of this. So we got 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Then I make my square root and I evaluate the inside. So negative 2 to the second, subtract the product of 4, 1, and negative 85. So I get 344. So positive, negative. So the square root of 344 is going to be 18.55. That's your discriminant. So you take 2 plus 18.55, click equals, divide by 2, 10.28. And then you take 2 and subtract 18.55, click equals, and divide by 2, and you get negative 8.28. Now cross out the negative, okay? There's your W, the width, that's your width. Now, that is not your length. The other one's not your length. Here's what you do. You take the W up into the replace part right here, 10.28. And you punch that in. You go 10 times 10.22 times 10.28. And then subtract 4 and you get 16.56. Now let's verify that those are the correct answers. We can multiply them and see if it's close to 170. Remember, we have approximated the dimensions because we can't find the exact ones, and that is pretty darn close to 170. Okay? All right, next one. A garden's width is 5 feet more than twice its length. The area is 240 square feet. Find the dimensions of the garden. So we're not building a border, okay? It's just there's your length, there's your width, okay? Length, width, and put 240 inside, okay? Now they also give me this key information that the width is, so this time it's width before is, so it's width equals. There's equals, there's width, equals width. If length comes before, I put L equals. Then I put the L variable on the other side and underline length, and I work my way backwards. If we see twice, that means the length is multiplied by 2. Then 5 feet more, that means plus 5. Width is twice the length plus 5. So again, W equals, put the length on the other side and find the word length, work your way backwards. Twice means times 2, 5 feet more means plus 5. Okay, so I'm ready to roll. Length times width equals area. So we know that the length is 240. Now, go up here, W is your base, so that variable is going to be replaced with the expression 2L plus 5. So take out your W, W's gone, and replace it with 2L plus 5. And now this can just be regular L, okay? So now I have the same variable in each parentheses. So I have to distribute. So 1L times 2L and 1L times 5. So it'd be L to the second power with 2 and then 5 with L. So really you just have the L to the second and the L, no constants, just 2 and 5. So we have 2L to the second power plus 5L equals 240. So I'm solving for L. I have L to the second and L to the first, so again we have to apply our factoring properties. So there would be 2 answers to this. Okay. but you have to have 0. So we subtract the 240, and that's just a hangout because we don't have a constant on the other side for it to go with. So we have L to the second plus L plus a constant equals 0. So you have 2, 5, and negative 240. So that's 3 terms. So GCF and the table. So there's no L, there's no negative, 2, 5, and 240. So again, you're looking at 2, 5's not there, so it's just a 1. So if it's 1, we're not going to do it. It's not negative 1. So 2 times negative 240 is negative 480. Well, I'm definitely doing QF with that. That's way over 100. So to solve for L, not X, L equals opposite of B plus or minus B square root B squared minus 4AC, B squared minus 4AC over 2A over 2A. So opposite of positive 5 is negative 5.
Did you have kids turn their Chromebooks in?
Yeah, they're right there.
Okay, you want to document it on that spreadsheet?
Yeah, you need it sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah, after I'm done with this, I can.
Thank you very much.
B is 5, A is 2, C is negative 240, and then A is 2. Okay. So you have negative 5, and on bottom 2 times 2 is 4. Then I find my square root. Okay. So I go parentheses 5 to the second, and I subtract 4, 2, and negative 240. And I come up with 1,945. Now again, that could be the positive or the negative, so I find the square root of 1,945, and I get 44.10. So 44.10. So we take negative 5 plus 44.10, click equals, and then divide by 4, you get 9.78, which is an okay answer. Then I take negative 5 and I subtract 44.10, and then I divide by 4 and I get negative 12.28. Okay, so you take out the negative and 9.78 your width. Now don't put that as the other answer, okay? Don't do that. Width. Well, here's the width all by itself. So I go into the replace and I replace W with 9.78. So then I find the product 2 times 9.78, click equals, then add 5, and you get 24.56. And that's your width. Now, to check your answer, multiply those dimensions, because that's the area, and it should be pretty close to 240. Yep, it is. It's going to be a little off because we had to round, okay? Okay, then the last problem. A patio's length is 8 less than 3 times its width. Its area is 220 square feet. Approximate the dimensions of the garden. So length, width, and we know the length times the width is 220. Now this equals, okay? What comes before a patio's length? So L comes first. So put W on the other side and go find the word width and underline it, and you work your way backwards. So it doesn't say twice, it says 3 times its width, so that's times 3. And then 8 less would be minus 8. More than is plus, less than is minus. Okay? Now you're ready to roll. Length, width. Now, this is the base that will be replaced with 3W minus 8. So you replace your L with the expression 3W minus 8. And then this here can just be W, because now the variables match inside the parentheses. Okay? So we take 3W times 1W, and then negative 8 times 1W. So 3W second, negative 8W. So 3, negative 8. Oh, sorry, the area is 220. You got to get that in there. So 3W squared, either plus negative 8 or minus 8W, it doesn't matter, equals 2, as long as you know that the 8's negative. Okay, so now we're solving for w, so we have w to the second and w to the first, so that's definitely, we have to use factoring properties. Got to get your 0, so we subtract 220. Put that in the hangout, so you got w second, w constant equals 0. So 3, negative 8, negative 220. Okay, so GCF table. No w, no negative, there's no variable on the end, no negative, then 3, just be 1, because 3 is your only chance, and we don't see 8 there, so I obviously need to use deductive reasoning to know that it's 1. So 3 times negative 220, that's negative 660, so that's a mismatch. Oh, I'm not even going to do this because that's well over 100. So w equals the quadratic formula, opposite of b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So positive 8, then b to the second, so that's going to be negative 8 to the second, and then a is 3, c is negative 220, then a is 3. So you have 8 in front, 2 times 3 is 6, and then the square root, and then you plug that in. Okay, I got 2,704. Then I find the square root. And this is actually a rational square root because it's 52 even. So it's not irrational answers. So 8 plus 52 is 60, divided by 6 is 10. Then I take 8 minus 52, divide by 6, and I got negative 7. You can go second PRB if you want. Negative 7 1/3. Doesn't really matter anyway because that's a negative. So the width is 10. Now the length, you don't put that other answer. You go to length equals. Now that we know that w is 10, we take 3 times 10 is 30, minus 8 is 22. Okay. So 22 times 10. So if you take 22 times 10, that's 220. That's the area.